Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. We've got some great partners with the Creative Brew. First of all, Panels, Comics and Coffee Bar here in beautiful Oceanside, California, right off of Mission Avenue. They've got some of the hottest graphic novels and comics out right now. They also have a wide assortment of merchandise, toys, as well as back issue vintage comic books, and that I'm sure has some hidden gems in there. If you mention the Creative Brew, you'll get 10% off of your next purchase. You can also check them out on social media at Panels Coffee or go to panelscoffee.com. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code ELEVATE21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. Another partner of mine is Astropad. And if you're a digital creator like me and you constantly use your iPad Pro, you can actually use Astropad to change your graphics tablet into another professional graphics tablet. So you can use Photoshop, full versions of Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all your favorite programs right on your iPad Pro or graphics tablet. This has been an awesome tool for me because I'm always having to do some fine-tuning, editing, repainting, recoloring on various design projects or working on logos. Astropad is a huge asset for me. For teachers and students and educators, they actually have a great deal going on right now. This is an annual subscription, so it's a subscription app, but it's been a huge tool for me, and I don't know what I would do without Astropad. So you can check them out at Astropad app or go to astropad.com. And my last sponsor is the cobo.pod. The cobo.pod is a boutique video and audio production studio based in Oceanside, California. And if you're a podcaster, vlogger, content creator, you should really come by and check out the venue for yourself. Anytime that I bring in a guest, they're amazed by the setup, amazed by the quality, the production value. Like I said, I think the Creative Brew just went up a notch. I actually went up incredible levels partnering up with the cobo.pod and been able to create, 4K video. Everything looks great. Even the photographer that we have on staff, I use a lot of their photography for branded assets for the Creative Brew, as well as the audio for my podcast and my radio show. So if you want to feel like booking your session, and maybe you're thinking about starting a podcast, or maybe heck, you want to just sit in one day. I'm doing a podcast, or I'm doing a show. Hey, come by, check it out. See the venue, see the setup, check out everybody. It's a great vibe here. But let's book your session today at cobo.pod.org. Today we have Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks. You can check him out on Instagram. He's definitely a very enlightening individual with a military background, still in the military. Today we're bringing him on to the show and talking about his journey, talking about the ups and downs, especially with him being in the military capacity, and really trying to figure out what the true definition of leadership is, and really sort of sharing about what he's done to sort of change his narrative, to change his story. And also too, he gives us some creative tips as well as some words of wisdom. So check it out, and please comment, share, like, subscribe, and you can support the show at www.buymeacoffee.com/the creative brew. And this helps keep the show going. So without further ado, this is Meech Speaks. Welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, we've got a very interesting individual, enlightening individual, and someone that I think that once you get a chance to meet him and hear his story, I think it's going to leave you, honestly, more inspired, more motivated, and really for anyone that maybe they're starting from a certain point, and maybe someone that feel like they may be at a point in their situation or in their life where they feel like they need to make a turn. This might be the episode for you. But without further ado, I'll let Demetrius. He goes by Meech Speaks. If you listen to him on Instagram, I'll let him sort of share his story, and then we'll go ahead and get going with the episode.
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks. The energy got to be good because this is the first time. Like it's 2022, and this is my first guest appearance for 2022, man. So like I'm blessed, I'm grateful, extremely humbled, extremely humbled. You know what I mean? A little bit about myself for those who don't know. Once again, I do go by Meech Speaks. Meech, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. And, I grew up in a single parent household. Mom did the best that she could. She really did do the best that she could. Father, on the other hand, was an alcoholic. And, the problem with having like a father that's like that struggles with addiction. And I don't know if anybody ever like dealt with like addiction before in their lives. But the problem when you have somebody with addiction is that they come in your life in increments. Like I remember when I was 8 years old, he sat me down and he said like, hey, you're going to be the man of the house. Fast forward, I didn't see him until I was 11. Fast forward again, 13, 15, 15, 18. Last time I saw my father, I really want to say, I think I had my first child. You know what I mean? Like I had my first child and he was still like, he wasn't even tracking that I even had a kid at the time. You know what I mean? So like, I don't even know my dad even know I got kids right now. You feel me? So that was always one of the biggest things. Growing up in Detroit, Michigan, it's exactly what everybody always say it is. You know what I mean? Now, when I say like exactly what everybody say it is, it ain't what everybody saw in 8 Mile. Like we ain't battle rap. I can assure you that we ain't battle rap. Okay, but the drugs, the violence, the crime rate, that is true. And I remember, and I've always told people that if you don't make a change in your life, like if you don't decide to make a change in your life, your environment is going to do that for you. And that's not just growing up in like in the hood. You feel me? That's just in general. Your environment is going to make the decision for you. So if you don't make a decision, your environment will make the decision for you. And that's a lot what happened. You know what I mean? I remember going to high school and, we graduate and you hear it all the time, like people that die like right after high school. Some people end up getting pregnant. Some people try to go off to college. You feel me? They come back home. College didn't make it. Ended up working in the factory. Some people. For me, on the other hand, I'm gonna just be 100% honest with you. And I know a lot of people always say this, that they saw like the bigger picture. I legit saw the bigger picture. Yeah. And it came in like pieces, like, like, damn, man, I don't want to sell drugs. Damn, I don't want to work at Chrysler. There has to be a way where I can find some form of order in my life. And I don't have to worry about like the day-to-day increments of what everybody else is worrying. I didn't understand the military. So I was thinking prison. I was thinking like, damn, like when you think of like order, discipline, a schedule, the first thing that came to mind, and that just to show you just how deep I was in, is that like that the mindset was, it was prison. I was like, damn, like, I guess I need to go to prison if I want all of these things. But the reality was that I actually just needed to be in the military. And, I ended up finding a military recruiter. And I say military recruiter because at the time I didn't know he was a Marine Corps recruiter. I just knew that he was in, uniform. The uniform was ugly, to be honest with you. I'm just keeping it 100. Like the uniform was ugly. All right. Like if there's any Marines or listening to this, man, like he was in his deltas. And for some reason, I was looking at the uniform and everybody always get wild by it. Like, oh my God, the uniform is just that was the ugliest thing I ever saw in my life. And I was saying to myself, like, I mean, I can get past that. I just need to get out of Detroit. I sat down, we talked. 2 months, 3 months later, I was in the United States Marine Corps, and I've been in since 2009.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. So what was so for you, what was that little pivotal point to where like you actually made that, like, hey, I need to make a change, like I need to get out of an environment. What was that? What was that? Honestly, I mean, you just said, you're getting into the military, but what was that? What was that one decision, or maybe that one point in your life to where you just said, like, I got to make a change, or I'm going to die out here.
Um, I never told anybody this, but I think it was honestly a month before I was joining. I was at my brother's house, and I was sleeping there. And honestly, like, when I say my brother, is just a real close friend at the time, and we weren't even like supposed to be in that house. We were squatting in his mom's old house where she was trying to sell. So we were just squatting in there. And I remember having a dream, right? And in the dream, the house got raided, and they came in for the drugs, and they killed him. And right when they were about to kill me, I woke up, and I woke up in like a cold sweat. Like, I was just like, yo, is this my future? You know what I mean? Like, is this what my next path is going to be? So when I enlisted in the Marine Corps, I knew already that I didn't want to go to college. I remember when they took the ACTs and the SATs and they sat us at that college, they didn't even call my name, and I didn't even shrug. Everybody else was upset, that they names, and they're like, this is their future. My ideal of it was just, I didn't see myself in college, that when my name didn't get called, I was like, all right, well, whatever. So for me to join the military, I think that was the best decision for me. And I say it was the best decision that I could have made because everyone else around me did not believe in it. They did not believe that I was supposed to go in the military.
Now, it's I know Dylan working with some of the military out here. I'm on the West Coast. I'm working with you get people from Camp Pendleton, and that come into the gym and work out. And I usually start to get to know a lot of them. For you, I mean, everybody has those pros and cons, but for you, or maybe you can elaborate, to, obviously you can't go into detail of too much stuff, but what's the pros and cons of you being in the military? If you can give us like a pro, and then maybe what's a con. I mean, I know for a lot of the military I work with, a lot of them feel like they're trying to sort of phase out of the military. They just sometimes they feel like they're sort of bounded up, or not having to deal with leadership and all the stuff that goes with it. I didn't know for you, what are those pros and cons?
I want to say one of the biggest pros, and I'm really glad that you asked me this question now at this point in my life. One of the biggest pros that I would say being in the military is that you can actually dream. You can dream in the military. And when I say like you can dream, there's a lot of people that are getting out of the military and going straight into entrepreneurship. And we are able to do that, and we're able to essentially do a lot of the building, like that first 4 or 5 years of entrepreneurship, it's supposed to be some of the hardest times. We have the ability to be able to do that while still being in the military. You know what I mean? You're still receiving a primary check while you build your secondary. And until your secondary is big enough to be the primary, you can finally step off. So I want to say like that, one of the biggest pros to that is that it allows you to be able to do things like that. And even if you don't, even if that's not a path for you, one of the pros, and I think I have told people this before, it gives you the ability to find who you are. It's one of the biggest life hacks. I'm not going to say it is the life hack, but it is one of the biggest life hacks. Like you always hear about like people that say like, oh, I went off to college to find myself. I left home to find myself.
Yeah.
Well, I joined the military to find myself. And during that time, I found myself, I found out who I am, what I like, the things about me. And I had that opportunity to be able to do that when I'm not around my environment. I'm not around my family. I'm not around my friends who all have the exact same mindset that I have that was birthed from our environment. I'm away from everybody. So I really got to tough this shit out. We can cuss on here, can we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm my bad. I keep.
No, you can.
But I really got to do that by myself. I got to figure all of this out by myself. And when I finally do figure out me, you know what I mean? Like when I figure out me, I can finally step into the direction in which I'm supposed to. Because let's be frank here, the military is a stepping stone, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear that, like, oh, the military ain't a stepping stone. It is. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be in this. We wouldn't be doing this for 20 years. You see what I'm saying? Like you got 20 years to be able to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? You gonna start a family? Go ahead and start a family. But at the same time, you should be figuring yourself out and setting yourself up so that way when you leave, when you like 38, you already stepping into a good situation. Now, I will say a con to it is that the military is always going to be your primary, regardless of the situation. As long as you're in the military, it will always be a primary. Some of us do get lucky where we're able to be able to do our secondary lives, podcasting, speaking. I was fortunate enough to be in a command where I would be able to come up to them and tell them like, hey, I got a speaking engagement, this weekend. Can I go? Go for it, Thick man. Hey, I got an interview at like 3. Can I like head home and knock that out a little early? Go for it, Thick man. There are other commands where the mission is the priority. And a lot of people get upset when they hear that, like, oh man, they only care about the mission. Well, the mission is the priority. Like you signed up to them. They didn't seek you out. You feel me? Like they didn't seek you out. So that is the con, is that, you have to realize that you are still on their schedule. Like you're still on their dollar.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think that's been one of the biggest things that a lot of them come to me with, and and a couple of them I've been talking to, they're definitely got some plans that they're wanting to do. But yeah, using the military as a platform, as a stepping stone into the next career. I mean, I think that goes for really about any platform.
Absolutely.
You use that. I mean, I know with with you doing podcasting and doing speaking, and I believe you got a book too as well.
Yeah, I am a published author.
Yeah. So all those things are stepping stones to that, toward that direction. Even with everything you got going on, what do you feel like is your creative journey? Where do you feel like you're being sort of led to? I know you got the podcast out. You've done speaking. You've got a very entertaining voice and demeanor to the way you communicate too. So that makes it even better. But what do you feel like right now you're being led towards, as far as from a just a communication, voice, audience?
Right now, am I still coming in good?
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like, and this is something that, a lot of people like, 2021 was one of the biggest shifts in my life. You know what I mean? Like it was really a big shift in my life. I moved from California to Virginia. Probably that was a bad idea. I'm gonna just be 100% honest with you. That was a bad idea. Give up. It was really like, it really was like coming from like Olympus to come down to earth. Like it was not a good idea. It was, good career wise, but personally, I did take a big hit. I took a big hit coming from Cali, going to Virginia. I didn't understand how that environment really affected my life. Moving away from friends, moving away from family. I spent a lot of time alone. I stepped away from podcasting twice in 2021. And during that time, I struggled with depression. I struggled with anxiety. I've always struggled with those things, but it really got the best of me, and a lot of people didn't know that because I was still showing up, you know what I mean? And I really want to just take a moment real quick and just say that just because somebody can carry the load don't mean that it ain't heavy. Trust me, it's heavy. You know what I mean? I'm just used to carrying it. And I was able to show up. And during that time, I stepped away from Extraordinary Thoughts with Ordinary Mind. And the reason why is because my last season, I felt like I had just dumped so much of my emotions, my raw emotions, to the point where it felt like as if like I couldn't come back to that. I couldn't come back from this. I told y'all things that I never thought that I ain't even talked about out loud yet. And I dropped so much of it on there, and I stepped away from the podcast. 2021, December 24th, I was driving. Now, mind you, this is now a year. This is a year of me being here. And as I was driving, something just hit me. You know what I mean? Like it really hit me. And it said, like, damn, Meech, like, you know how much growth you didn't experience this year? You know what I mean? Like people always talk about like trust the process, you're gonna, praise the growth. That growth there's a thing called growing pains.
Yeah.
And it's painful. You know what I mean? It's painful. And that process, like I almost told people, like, I ain't trying to hear about the process. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I know Z comes after A, but there's a whole bunch of other letters in that alphabet I have to deal with.
Yeah.
And as I was driving, right? Like as I was driving, it hit me all at once. You know what I mean? Like to the point where I really had to pull over because it was starting to choke me up. And I was just like, my fighting ability had grown. My speaking ability had grown. You know, I had actually found things about myself that I had really buried. You know, like when we get so much success, we tend to forget like our shortcomings or our failures because we don't really, you know, we're a little bit away from them. I got a chance to see them up close and personal. And that's when I realized that I want to go back to extraordinary thoughts. I want to go back to my original podcast. I want to sit down. I want to talk it out. I want that podcast the same way that I made it to make me a better version of myself. I want to do it again. So this time, like that calling that's been bringing me back is back to my original podcast.
Good. Good. Uh, so I mean, do you? So even there, you know, being there, I think a lot of times we, you know, we migrate from places to place, from place to place, and you know, I've always been one of those to where you can, I feel like you can plant and grow wherever you're planted. Do you feel like now being over there in Virginia? I know personally for me, I know it was a culture shock. I'm from Tennessee. It was a culture shock coming out here to Cali. I'm like, what is going on out here?
It's fast
Uh,
paced, yeah.
yeah, and but I found myself now being planted after X amount of years. Knowing a lot of the businesses and connecting with so many people just through the podcast. Do you feel like now being over there? Do you feel like you're being a little bit more rooted and planted now? Do you feel more comfortable? Do you feel like, man, I would love to come on back out here to Cali?
Um, if the question is that the first chance I get, will I ever go back to California? Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. If at any given moment, if they told me right now, like if the monitor came up to me and said, "Hey, you know, you can go back to California right now," I'll be on the first plane. I'll be on the first plane. I'll be out of here right then and there. And it's not I'm not leaving because I'm in a bad situation.
Yeah.
My soul belongs in California. My soul was out there. When I found myself, I found it in California. You know, I met my wife in California. You know, I fell in love in California. I have so many deep roots in California. But just like what you said, you know, being able to grow where you're planted, to be uprooted and then being able to grow here, I have made great friendships and I'm able to flourish out here. I'm actually, you know, being from Detroit, Michigan, I'm closer to home. So I
Yeah.
have been able to like mend a lot of like family issues on my other side that I've neglected because I was on the West Coast
Yeah.
and just developing myself. And that's another thing is that I've grown to appreciate the isolation, you know, and I always tell people that there's power in isolation. You know, in California, I'm surrounded by loved ones, I'm surrounded by friends, I'm surrounded by everything that I enjoy. Out here, I had to get back to the nitty gritty. You know, it was almost as if I was back to recording in a closet with a phone again. You know what I mean? Like it was back to that. You know, I really had to grow. I really had to do some emotional growing, some physical growing. To be honest with you, I won't say physical growing because I came out here 200 pounds. I'm like 170 now. So like I dropped some weight.
Yeah.
Like it was a bad cut, you know. Um, Mental growth. It was a lot of growth though out here. So I was able to definitely grow where I was planning.
Cool. 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 Um, so I know right now, I mean, what things for you? What's inspiring you right now? What's keeping you fueled, keeping you inspired? What things? It could be anything. You feel like is inspiring your life right now.
I want to say my success. And I don't, you know, I know that may sound shallow to say, but a while back somebody wrote and gave me a letter and they told me it was like allow yourself to succeed just as much as you allow yourself to fail. And what it meant was is that, you know, when we fail, we are our worst critiques. Like
Yep.
if we mess up a rep, you know, the rep don't go bad, you know, we mess up on recording, any little thing, we take it and we blow it out of proportion. You know what I mean? And I learned that about myself last year is that I was so quick to just analyze, dissect, nitpick, really anything that was going to be negative said, I was already saying it to myself. And it was based off of my own failures. You know, my anxiety getting the best of me, it's from my own, it's me that's causing it. I'm the one that's fanning the flame. But when I would succeed, and I think a lot of people tend to do this right here, is that when they succeed, they downplay their own success. You know what I mean? We blow our failures out of proportion, but we minimize our success in a sense of like, I tested out for one of my belts and somebody was like, good job. And I was like, yeah, but I missed a couple of things. I'm already being negative. You know what I mean? Like somebody gave me a standing ovation at a speaking engagement. I was still speaking in 2021. And I was just like, yeah, but I can be better. I ain't gotta say that. You ain't gotta say that about yourself. You know what I mean? So I told myself that I was going to succeed. I was going to allow myself to succeed just as much as I allow myself to fail. The same energy that I be having when I fail, I'm gonna give myself that when I succeed. Even if it's a small victory, you need that win. You don't know when the last time you won. So go ahead and celebrate it and tell yourself, good job. So each time that I do succeed, I take a moment and I say to myself, like, good job, Demetrius. Good job. Because you needed that, bro. You really needed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think it's so hard for people to tell yourself good job? Give yourself those small little victories and wins. Why do you think it's so hard?
Uh, we a lot of us sometimes, and when I say a lot of us, I say it for me personally. I feel like sometimes I'm not deserving. Sometimes I don't deserve the win that I'm getting right now, and I'm quick to compare myself to others. You know what I mean? And because I'm so quick to compare myself to others, I'm trying to measure my success off of their success. In a sense, I'm trying to measure somebody's level 10 to my level 1. You know what I mean? Like they probably achieved that success before, but I feel like I should be achieving what they're achieving right now, what in reality, this is what I should be getting right now. And then also, we always tell ourselves, you got to be humble. You got to be this. Don't be so arrogant and stuff. I'm a firm believer that my arrogance is the reason why I'm alive. You know what I mean? Like my self-love is the reason why I'm really alive. So when it's time for me to like succeed, I shouldn't be the one that's going to downplay it. I shouldn't be the one that's going to say to myself, like, oh, well, you can always do better. We always tell ourselves, we always try to have that competitive mindset. Get
Yeah.
ready for the next fight. Get ready for this. Just keep on training. Take a break, bro, and just give yourself that praise. You know what I mean? Like, allow yourself to succeed because you don't know when the next time you're going to get a success like that. And you don't know when the last time you had one like that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the truth. I mean, I know I'll do a lot of design work, and I'll look at certain logos that students and stuff are wearing out of school, and people I'll get raving people email me like, man, I love this logo, and I'll be like, man, I was like, maybe I could have tweaked this or maybe I could have tweaked that instead of like, man, like people are wearing something that you literally created from your mind, manifested it through your hands, and people wear it all the time.
And I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. It's just one of those where like sometimes that's just just it could be amazing. Like you look around like, man, like yeah, I created that. I made even when we're developing our podcast, like we created this, and it's and for the one or two people that do produce a podcast or do speaking engagements, you got 20 other people thinking about
it.
doing
You know
it.
what I mean? I think one of the biggest things that why we don't really, why it's hard for us to allow ourselves to succeed is for the simple fact that is because we're the one that's seeing it. You know what I mean? Like it's from our perspective, and I love to cook. I'm like I really found like it to be like very, dang, I don't know the word for it, but it's something about cooking, like the prep, the everything that goes into it that has been real like zen for me. And when I find that word again, I promise you I'll say it. But when I eat it immediately, I'm not tasting for the flavor. I'm tasting for what I'm missing. You know what I mean? Like, dang, it needs a little bit more salt. Hey, how is this? But when somebody else tastes it, they're like, oh man, this is good. That's the same way we treat our success, is that because it's ours, we know our flaws. When I listen to my episodes, I'm listening to my episodes and I can hear my stutters. I can hear when I miss my pitch. I can hear when, I lost my train of thought. I can hear when I cleared my throat. You know what I mean? And I feel like because of that, I'm not taking in the episode. It's a good episode, but I can't take it in. And that's what it's like when you're doing something and you succeed. Yeah, you did it. You did good, but you are already nitpicking it in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I actually had an interview earlier today, and I talked to him about just making an effort to celebrate your small wins. Just being in sports for forever, and just being a creator, man. I just self pick all the time, and I probably been doing it since I was in middle school. Just hey, where can I get better? Where can I get faster? Where could I draw better, or can I design this better? Instead of sounding like, man, it was like, and now what I'm doing now is starting to look back and like, man, I was like, I'm creating all this content, massive amount of content. Um, I mean, it's just like celebrate your small wins, man. It's like there's people that wish you were in that position. Wish they were in your position to do what you do, and we critique ourselves about not having the right intro, or not having the right tone or voice, and so it's just one of those when now I just find myself like, hey, look, I'm not even. I'll do some small editing on the podcast, but I'm like, hey, trim it. Let's go. I'm not looking for every little thing, and people still enjoy it. People still
absolutely
like, man, hey, I love your episodes, and so it's like just I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Honestly, yeah, I want to try to be a better. Definitely working on being a better communicator. I'll heck even I'll look at your videos. I'm like, oh, I was like, I like how he's coming in with the, he's coming in hard. I was like, okay, where he's going. But yeah, I think now just podcasting more and more. Like I find myself like being more fine tuned in the craft. Like, okay, how are they delivering this? How are they communicating this? So yeah, man, it's just the process.
No, I completely agree.
We're gonna go into creative tips. This is something I ask all my guests, and I've had probably more than 100 creative tips from various guests. But what's a creative tip or tips that you can provide our audience?
Well, as far as like social media goes, or
it could be life.
Okay,
it could be anything.
Okay. In life, I feel like I gave a couple of creative tips in life, like quick life hacks. For those who are like wanting to hop on like social media as far as like creating content and stuff, one of the biggest things that I've learned about social media is that you will get upset with God over a blessing that you not even ready for. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that a lot of people always want to have a lot of likes, they want to have a lot of followers. I've had people reach out to me and say, how do I get more followers? How do I get more likes? How do I get more engagement? And the reality is that you gotta, before you worry about that, create something for a community that you are expecting to come. Because when you get the community and you don't have nothing to offer them, they're gonna go to somebody else to get it anyway. You know what I mean? And nobody just want to follow you just for the sake of following you. Another creative tip that I would say is that don't ever think that just because everybody else is doing it, that you are exempt from being able to do it. And what I mean by that, people don't say like, oh, I don't want to create a podcast because everybody got a podcast. Yeah, everybody got a podcast, but everybody podcast ain't good. All right. I'll just be honest, I mean, we done heard a couple of podcasts now. Like we done heard them. Sitting back thinking like, damn, I can't even believe he aired this. But that's and a lot of times people will not take that step forward because they feel like the community already has enough of it. The community does not have enough of you. They do not have enough of you because you are the only one that's going to be able to tell that story in a way that it's supposed to. When I stepped into self-help, that self-help realm, I mean, it's a plethora of podcasts about it. You know what I mean? But I'm the only one that's going to be able to tell it from my point of view. So I stepped forward with it. You know what I mean? And I think that was one of the biggest things that really helped me with the situation. And I think my last creative tip, you know, and I hope these are creative tips. Like I hope
Oh
this
yeah,
would
no,
help.
no, this is awesome.
Um, strangers and supporters, your biggest supporters are going to be complete strangers.
Yep.
Your biggest supporters is going to be complete strangers. If I take something right now from Instagram, post it on Facebook, I guarantee you that thing could probably get like 10 likes, 2 views. I guarantee you that. And the crazy part is that on Facebook, that's where all my family and friends are. That's where all my family and friends, and I'm talking about like people that know me since I was a kid. But I take that exact same thing, drop it on Instagram, and it'll go all over the place. And the reality, and I want people to understand this, is that we get upset with our family and friends because we think that they're going to be the first ones in lines to support us. But the reality is that sometimes our family and friends ain't our target audience. Sometimes our family and friends can't wrap their head around the idea that you are that person now, that you're not the person that they used to know. You know, yeah, is it cool to have somebody support you? But the reality is that you should be the first person supporting you. They'll come later, but make it for the person who has never met you a day in their life and they are now hearing you. And then I'm telling you, like some of my biggest supporters are like I've never even met these people. Like I never met them, and I grew to meet them later on.
Yeah. Oh, those some great tips. That happens all the time. You know, I'll see. I've got a lot of friends, and a lot of them, you know, maybe they have some business idea or something they're trying to get going, and you know they're expecting, you know, their friends and family to support them. Like, no, it's I was like,
you know, and
I mean, you create it, you launch it, but that's not gonna be your market. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them are like, you need to support me. You know, how come we ain't supporting each other? You're not my market. That's not.
you're not, and you really, like, a lot of people get upset with that. You know, like they're like, dang man, you don't support my stuff. You're not his market. Like he's not in your market. I got a friend right now, and you know, I ain't gonna say his name, but he make music. You know what I mean? He make music. And just between me and you, that shit is trash. All right. It's trash. All right. Like it's been on my heart. That's been on my heart for quite some time. And I've really been letting it fester. Okay. It's trash. All right. But it's not, it's not the music for me. It's not my type of genre. You know what I mean? So when I listen to it, I'm not hearing the creativeness. So I really had to take a step back. Like I had to take a step back and say to myself, like, that's probably how some people feel. Like that's probably how some of your family members or friends feel when they listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they may think that you trash. Like they may not be feeling it. And it's okay because that's their opinion to it. You know what I mean? Like, and I've had to tell them, like, man, I can't share this. I can't share this, man, because I can't get past it, bro. Like, it's pack it up. Just pack it up.
What kind of music is it?
It's rap, man, and I love trap music. You know what I mean? I love rap. You feel me? I love rap music, love trap, but it just ain't hitting. It ain't hitting the way that it's supposed to hit, and it bothers me. It bothers me because it's like I want to support it. You know, I really want to. I want to stand behind you, but I'll be lying. I'll be even worse friend. I'll be an even worse friend. You know, so I just tell them like, you know, man, I listen to neo soul a lot, man, and that just ain't my genre, bro. If you need anything else from me, I'll do the best I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, heck, I don't even listen to a lot of rap anymore. I mean, I've always been a '70s and '80s, you know, fan. So I was like, I listen to '70s and '80s music all the time. So, you know, it's just one I was like, I couldn't even tell you any of the new artists. I mean, the only ones I definitely listen to is maybe J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar,
J. Cole, yeah.
but that's really about it. I mean, other than that, it's more sort of '70s, '80s music. You know, I'm a big fan. I love Flying Lotus and Thundercat, Anderson Paak.
Mm-hmm.
I love all their music, but that's really about it.
I'm a real big neo soul, early '90s R&B type of guy. You know, when
Okay.
Music Soul Child,
Yeah.
Floetry, Maxwell. You
Yeah.
know, I listen to a lot of that. You know, so
Yeah, they
I
don't have
already
that. They
stuck
don't have
out.
that anymore.
Man, I'm listening. I was listening to Maxwell one day, and I was just like this, like, ain't no way. ain't no way this got cleared back then. Like this music was on next level. This was top tier music back then. Like I was born. I keep telling people, I feel like I was just born in the wrong era. Like I'd excel. Like I was born in 1990, but I didn't grow up like how I was supposed to grow up in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like I was a kid through the 90s. If I could have been a teenager, adult in the 90s, I'd have been. I don't. There ain't no telling where I'd have been.
Yeah, 90s, boy. You had to, man, there's so many groups that came out and musicians. It's crazy. It's just one of those, like I'll see it now, it's like you can't even compare the music that was going on in the 90s to now. I mean, it's just crazy.
It had a whole different air to it, honestly. Like I still listen to Jill Scott's first album to this day.
Love Jill Scott.
Yes. I was telling my wife that I was like, that was by far one of the best albums I have ever heard in my entire life. Was Jill Scott's Who is Jill Scott?
Some words of wisdom that you can share with our audience. Something that once this episode releases, people may hear it and it may resonate with them, or it may hit them a year from now. What is some words of wisdom that you can plant in the minds of our audience?
And this one's been actually on my spirit a lot lately. Have the same confidence in yourself that others have in you. And this actually had this hit me during December and earlier this month, is that people believe in you. You know what I mean? Like people actually be like really have a lot of confidence in you. Like they see you, they know your potential. I know we always sit back and we talk about like, you got to know your worth. You got to do this and X, Y, and Z. But sometimes it's really hard to know your worth when you in that space right now. You know what I mean? And there's some people that really are rooting for you. They know you can do it. They know you can, but you betray their belief every single time because you don't believe in yourself. They want you to get on stage and sell that show out. But the thing is that as soon as you get on that stage, you get choked up because you don't believe in it. And now they the ones that look like a fool. And then you sit back and you say that nobody supports you. But the reality is that you don't support you. So if I could give anybody anything, man, like really have that same belief that others have for you. They ain't just telling you that shit because that you close to them. They telling you that because they really do believe in you.
Man. Some people it's gonna hit. Some people gonna love that one because it's, man, just be your number one fan. And it's hard. It's hard. People want them to people want outside support and validation, and it's like, man, you get be your number one fan first.
You gotta be your number one fan. That's why it's so critical that you gotta believe in you. You know what I mean? You gotta believe in you, because when people believe in you, they hoping that they expect you to believe in you first. But it just it's very frustrating because it's like, imagine like you training somebody, he can do it, but he don't. And no matter what I do, I can't convince him to believe in him. And that's frustrating because it's like, damn, man, I just wish you could see what I see. And a lot of times what happens is that it's easy for somebody to sit there and it's easy for somebody to see you and believe in you because they don't have your voice in their head. They don't have your voice in their head. The problem is that we have our voice in our head. We say our flaws. We call out our own negative things. And because of that, it's harder for us to believe in us. So when we get over that hurdle, we're able to do it. So I'm just telling people, you got to believe in people the way that they unbiasedly, unfaithfully, unwaveringly be believing in you.
Man, that's great. That's great. So right now, I mean, what projects are you brewing on? What things are coming down? I know you probably got 10,000 ideas, every day. What things do you feel like you want to you're focusing on as far as potential projects?
As I turn around and look at my my vision board real quick. All right. So right now, what we actually, I got a lot of stuff coming up. So by the end of first quarter, we are going to be dropping some merch. As you can see right now, I am wearing it. It's a new the new Meech Speaks wear. Nice. This one is more titled "Being Human." So it's a little bit more simplistic than the graphic tees that I had originally dropped last year. I'm really a simplistic, to be honest with you. So I really wanted the fashion to be more towards that. So we're getting ready to drop merch. By second quarter or third quarter, we will be pushing out a mindset journal, 60-day mindset journal. I'm really excited about that. I'm putting a lot of meat in this journal. And the goal is just, for us to become a better version of ourselves. And what better way to do that than to start jotting down our thoughts.
Yep.
By fourth quarter, I feel like fourth quarter is so far out. Like, we'll see where we at. We'll see where we at by fourth. But first quarter merch, and then stay tuned for our upcoming mindset journal.
Nice. That's great. That's great. So right now, I mean, how can people get connected with you, get connected with all the things you've got going on, merch, podcast, potential speaking engagements? If anyone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way of getting in touch with you?
And just like that, another episode. Follow me on Instagram at Meech Speaks. Once again, that's Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled Meech. Speaks. Link is in the bio for the book, The Extraordinary Thought from Ordinary Mind. The website Meech Speaks is also in the bio for all speaking inquiries. You can also email me at demetrius.thig@gmail.com for any coaching or speaking inquiries.
Yeah, man. It's other than that, man, this has been another great episode. Also, too, if you want to, there's different ways of supporting the show. If you like to see this show, if you got any kind of comments on the show, if you have any kind of topic ideals, or if you want to support it, you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/The Creative Brew, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this episode or support the whole show. Completely up to you, but that's what keeps it, helps me keep going, helps me keep creating content, helps me keep bringing on inspiring guests like Meech. And so, yeah, that's a great way to support the show. But other than that, hey, this has been another awesome episode of The Creative Brew with Meech, with me, the show host, Quantel. Be creative, stay inspired.